If you haven't watched the previous video, then I urge you to do so, because this one follows on. We were looking at bypassing all notions of perception. From this, the mind operates instantaneously, free from the senses of perception, and there is mastery over root tendencies. So once we get over the notion, or we no longer subscribe to the notion that we are an experiencer of sense impressions, then what's left is our root tendencies. And these are our inclinations which prevent us from sitting still. If you've tried to do some meditation for 20 minutes or 40 minutes, it's quite likely that at some point you feel maybe there's something else you should be getting on with, or that you'd really like to be getting on with. Something very worthy, to be sure. The root tendencies are what tell us that we are not complete in ourselves. The root tendencies tell us that we need to go out there and get something for the sake of our fulfillment. So we have to look at these. These are our itchy spots that we want to scratch. These are our inclinations to indulge ourselves, to indulge these root tendencies. And it can be very, very difficult. But the previous sutras have been bringing us to here with a capital H. They not only dissolve our interest in what the physical material world has to offer, but they dissolve all notion that there is even such a thing as a physical world, and even more fundamentally, that we are somehow perceiving that physical world. This can take quite a long time to come to terms with and to develop. And I would say that this is why we have some very long scriptures, spiritual texts, books of wisdom. One of these is the Yoga Vasishtha, and I've got a series of videos on this on YouTube. And I would recommend immersing yourself in this, not necessarily my videos, but at least the Yoga Vasishtha text. The whole point is to become established here, not as opposed to there. I spell here with a capital H because there is no there. But we are constantly putting ourselves out there. We are projecting ourselves out there. We are projecting our world out there. And we have a notion that somehow we are essentially impoverished. We are poor in spirit. And this is what we have to address, this poverty of spirit, because there's no such thing. We are immensely rich in spirit, and spirit here is our sense of being. And again, this is something which books like the Yoga Vasishtha can help with. They help with appreciation of the nature of your awareness, of the awareness by which you're hearing this. There is no limit to the extent of its miraculous nature. And this is where we're operating from. It's almost like we're the sun, sending out its rays into the cold reaches of space. And then that's what we think we are, a little point of light in the cold, struggling for survival. Enlightenment practice is about getting back in touch with our true identity as the sun, And this is what was described in Sutra 43 as the supreme incorporeality. We are completely aloof to notions of physicality, to notions of a physical world. But there are still these basic inclinations, these root tendencies. And this is what we have to focus on now. Once we're free from all notions of the senses, all notions of perception, all notions of a physical world, we've still got these root inclinations. And the way to deal with them is not scratch them and reinforce this samyama practice, which has been the subject of Book 3. This samyama practice which brings us back to realization and appreciation of our essential awareness. And we're told here that the mind operates instantaneously. We're no longer filtering the experiencing through notions of perception. We are experiencing things as they are. When the mind operates instantaneously, what this means is that the conceptual mind is being bypassed. We don't subscribe to the notion that what we're experiencing is a model of reality. This is the scientific story, that what the senses give us is a model of reality, and there's no way of knowing what that reality is. So the scientific story actually cuts us off from reality. Science just presupposes that it's a model and that there's something behind this model. But there's no basis for that supposition, that presupposition. So if we can get beyond notions of perception, the mind is operating instantaneously means that we are experiencing reality directly. And there's no distance between us and it. The whole universe is right here.